All right. Welcome back dito sa latest episode ng Deep Dive. After a very long time, kasama natin a certain attorney, Jesus Valsis, who's biglang welcome to the club for a certain thing filed against you. Huwag na natin masyadong pag-usapan. Attorney Valsis, kamusta na? Welcome to the Hall of Fame.
Hi, Richard, no? Well, it's good na may kasama ka na, no? Siyempre, nainggit ako eh. Or nainggit sila, sabi nila, isama natin yan kay Richard,
Oo nga
di
eh.
ba?
Actually, of course, walang kinalaman at all sa'yo yan. But thank you for mentioning isang TikTok video na pinost ko na I said I'll repost it later on na lang once we're in a much less grieving mode, hopefully. Um, which is yung tinanong kong anong tingin ng dalawang justices, Justice Ascuna and Justice Carpio, sa legal caliber, no? Ng isang certain Marcoleta senator. Sabi,
Grabe.
tapos
Ano sabi nila?
parang kinompare nila kay Topacio, di ba? I think Justice Scarpio was a bit too real talk. I don't think he knew it was live. Pero hindi naman niya tinake back when I asked about it. So I posted it pa rin. Si Justice
Did you
Ascuna,
ano? No, no, kasi many people were surprised, di ba? Many people were surprised with the brutal frankness of Justice Carpio. Sinabi mo ba sa kanya na nag-viral siya?
hindi, yung part naman niya, he didn't take back. I expressly asked it, Justice Scarpio, do you want that part, like edited or something? Kasi he didn't know naman it was live. Okay naman daw sa kanya. So, para sa akin, legendary pa rin yung Jimmy Bondok. Ano po niya? Like, sino? Hindi nila
What was the answer? What was the answer to Jimmy Bondo? Kasi medyo na ano yung audio dun eh.
blank stares. Like, who is that? So,
Wala sa lowest rank kasi wala
walang
ghost
ranking. Walang
ghost
ranking.
project.
Di ba sa tennis meron unranked? Pag hindi ka pa ranked player. So baka andun pa siya sa
Ikaw naman kasi, why would you ask Jimmy Bondoc? 1 year pa lang siyang lawyer or 2 years.
1 year pa lang siyang, ewan ko, whatever is his track record. Parang, ang dami niyang hanas eh. Biglang marang, ganito kasi sa kasuhan natin sa ICC, yung flood control projects, parang wait lang, binasa ko ba
Akala
yung
mo,
mandato ng ICC? Parang, sino ba to, di
akala mo
ba? I mean,
expert eh, no?
oo,
Oh.
oo. So, and then of course, from watching a certain Senator Marcoleta in Senate na talagang opening, napakagaling doon sa impeachment issue ni Sargan, ganyan. Tapos tawag sa legal luminary. So, I was curious, like, what qualifies as legal luminary? Kaya I was wondering, is Cheese Escudero a legal luminary attorney? Fast. A certain Cheese Escudero, is he considered?
You know,
Narinig nga kita.
when you're called a legal luminary kasi it should be by the media, it should be by other justices, it should be maybe yung mga law professors na 20 to 30 years na nagtuturo. You never call yourself a legal luminary or you never trust yung mga sa social media pages lang kasi with all due respect kay Senator Marcoleta, question, I don't know if you saw no si Congressman Paulo Marcoleta sa budget hearing sa lower house, question niya yung PCO na meron daw mga keyboard warriors, job contract, contract order or job orders. Ang dami daw sa PCO or PCOO. So, mga keyboard warriors daw yon. But the same goes for Senator Marcoleta, di ba? For Senator Marcoleta, makikita mo merong concerted, synchronized disinformation network na parang lagi sinasabi, Lacson, Supalpal or Barado kay Marcoleta, Kiko Pangilinan, napahiya kay Marcoleta. Yung mga ganun na parang legal luminary, mga sariling pages lang naman niya yun na nagsasabi na legal luminary siya.
Wouldn't legal luminary mean na meron kang body of work on legal studies, nag-contribute ka dun sa constitution, like, you can easily say how Justice Ascuna helped frame two constitution would be a legal luminary. You can see a former Supreme Court justice who oversaw major jurisprudential, let's say, development or new doctrines, diba? But just being an attorney and a senator, does that make you a legal luminary?
Hindi eh. Si Senator Juan Ponce Enrile, for all of his faults, can be considered a legal luminary. So sabi mo, body of work, no? Usually, it requires time. It requires the passage of time na matagal ka ng abogado, may body of work ka na recognize or binabasa ng iba at sinasite ka as an expert or luminary on a certain topic or subject, di ba? So basta dapat validated by others, hindi pwedeng sariling buhat bangko.
Hindi naman sariling buhat. In fairness, I don't think they ever described themselves, pero they were described by the DDS, which I think is even worse, right? Like, I think you rather endorse yourself than be endorsed by
Eh,
DDS.
bakit mo ba tinanong kung legal luminary siya? Kasi merong mga pages who are saying na legal expert or luminary si Marcoleta, di ba?
Yun nga, exactly. Yun nga. So, like, I don't know if I want to describe it self-proclaimed, self-described or something, or ano tawag, self-styled. Self-styled yata yung way to say.
Yung mga ano niya yun, propaganda pages niya yun, kahit naman i-deny niya, napaka-obvious. And merong mga journalists who have come out, like si Regine Cabato or yung ibang parang mga nag-a-analyze ng disinformation network, na ang bilis and concerted or synchronized yung paglabas ng mga videos or articles about Marcoleta na yun nga, yun yung mga title, no? Marcoleta, sinupalpal or barado si laging may kaaway si Marcoleta. Tapos parang laging sinasabi,
Oh,
mas
yung destroyed, yung mga ganun, MAGA-style vlogger.
like,
Alam
kahit
na natin
ikaw,
yung
di
ano na
ba?
yan.
Kahit ikaw, yung mga ganyan, ikaw, ginagamit ka din dyan. X, destroyed, hey Darian, yung mga ganon. Yung kay Marcoleta, ano kasi, laging sinasabi, abogado, expert, kaya daw niya natatalo sa debate or something.
So, dyan pala galant. Nakita ko sa TikTok, ang dami nag-comment, mag-debate na lang sila ni Justice ganito, Justice ganito. Parang, ha? Bakit? Kailan ba naging magaling magdebate itong taong to?
Alam mo, hindi pwede mag-debate ang dalawang tao na hindi naman same level. Kasi, alam mo, kahit sabihin nilang mayabang, merong concept sa media at saka may concept sa academe na false equivalence. 'Di ba? That's why yung mga journalists ngayon, you do not platform mga vaccine deniers or climate change deniers. Tapos, ipipit mo sila into a debate na you will invite an expert on science or the law, tapos mag-invite ka din ng vaccine denier. That's false equivalence. Hindi kasi equivalent yung credibility nila tsaka yung kanilang expertise. So, by inviting the vaccine denier, tinataas mo yung credibility niya without basis. So, without due respect to Marcoleta, pag sinabing mag-debate sila ni Justice Carpio, parang sinasabi mo na 30 plus years na justice or expert si Marcoleta para makadebate niya ang isang Antonio Carpio.
Obviously, I got smashed a lot back in the day for debating as actually the debate part is question mark, like debating a certain vlogger and all. Pero once in a while you have to sacrifice yourself. Pero one off lang yan. Kaya after I said, ayoko na, like parang sinayang walang buhay ko doon. But thanks by
Tingnan mo si di ba ikaw may personal experience ka. Recently, si Kristan, di ba, pumayag sa isang debate. Hindi mga ano lang yun trap or parang it's also just to increase their credibility or echo chamber sa kabilang side.
At saka when it's the editing part, but destroys ganito. Sabihin natin kunyari, like 1 hour debate kayo. 99% tabad yung kalaban mo, di ba? 99%. So, alam mo talaga you're not at the same level. Like, parang F-35 fighter ako, ano pa lang si Kuya. Pero
Oo,
yung
tapos
1% na kunyari, medyo napagod ka, na ano kasi kung nakakasalita mo, kukunin nila yung 1 minute na, is-slice nila into 60 parts. And then, maging mukhang talo ka, di ba?
correct, kinakalimutan yung 99% or wala namang judge or neutral observer na may expertise din na sila dapat yung nagsasabi na itong side yung nanalo, itong side yung natalo. Kasi ang uso kasi sa mga ngayon, propagandist, yung debate lang, tapos sasabihin nila, oh, panalo ito kasi mas maingay sila, 'di ba? Mas sila, mas yung disinformation network nila. Pero tayo galing tayo sa debate academe.
We're
When you see
competitive
debate,
debaters back in the day. I think people
yes,
forget that. Like, trabaho
by,
natin
by,
yun dati.
by practice, merong sport na it's an actual sport debating sa buong mundo. Tapos tayo, we have competed in the highest levels of debate. And doon sa mga debate competitions na yon, meron talagang judge or meron talagang neutral third-party observer na hindi mo lang pwedeng i-claim ako yung panalo, talo siya.
No offense, like not because I'm in Oxford right now, pero parang to even represent a certain top debating team, ang dami mong dadaanan ng butas ng karayo times 10, di ba? So like people don't realize to be a competitive debater, ang hirap niya is you're absolutely right. It's a professional sport talaga, di ba? You have to perfect it within this time, within that time. Ako parata ko naman -1 dahil overtime ako. But anyways, no, I mean people don't know when we criticize debating stuff online and all, it's because we're using no what's the established standard. Having said that, hindi naman tayo nagkakulang sa Bardagulan, no, Attorney Falsis, kasi mukhang marami nagagalit sa'yo. Pero ang nangyari is parang na ethics yata yung isa. Kamusta yung, parang na ethics yata yung nagagalit sa'yo. Ano nangyari dyan?
So, karma is digital, di ba? Karma is forthwith. Oh, balik kagad sa kanya yung ginawa niya eh.
Uno reverse. Ano ba yung ethics committee? Sino ba nag-file? Ano ba alam natin? And no, but honestly, like, diba? Like, it's quite interesting for certain people who are under scrutiny on very serious grounds. I mean, I know the DDS style. I mean, we were speaking about destroy, but like, parang the best defense is offense. Pero, may konting defense ka pa rin dapat eh, bago ka mag-offense. Hindi pwede yung all out ka, di ba? Na parang, eto ka na, bugbog ka na nga, tapos magsusuntukan ka pa. Yung parang wala kang defense, nagsusuntukan ka sa baba. Hindi pwede yun eh, medyo sablay yun eh. So, what is your read of this ethics complaint? And, like how bad is the situation of these certain senators? O yung iba naman pwede natin sabihin, like Joel Villanueva, Jingoy, J&J. Like, what's the situation? JJC.
Well, balita naman na yung ethics complaint, tsaka hindi naman yan confidential, di ba? It's a surprise, no? Ako kasi, hindi ko naman yan nakakausap, tsaka yung nag-file is a well-known lawyer within lawyer circles lang. Pero hindi siya like well-known outside, di ba? Or nationally, hindi siya well-known si Attorney Marvin Aceron. Pero ngayon, nakikilala na siya, no? I also don't know his reasons for filing. He might be or he is probably just a well-meaning citizen na lawyer because kami, mga lawyers, we're supposed to uphold the law. So, it's part of our duty na pag may nakita kaming mali or pagkakamali at binaviolate yung batas, kung may magagawa kami, we should also contribute. So, I think siya, on his part, he's doing his contribution to enforce the law. So yung ethics complaint right, matagal ng tanong ng mga kababayan nating Pilipino, dati pa na disclose 2 months na ba or 1 month na may campaign donor si Senator Cheese na contractor and he admitted that. Walang denial. Sabi niya, oh yeah, you can check my SOSE, Statement of Campaign Contribution and Expenses noong 2022 when he ran for senator. He said, oo, 30 million from Lawrence Lubiano. Lawrence Lubiano, the president and owner of Centerways Construction. So, si Atty. Aceron, I think he did more due diligence kasi actually hindi pa masyado nahihimay yung kanyang ethics complaint. Pero he has new evidence. Ang dami niyang bagong present na facts and details sa ethics complaint niya. Hindi lang yung SOSE na may 30 million campaign donation. Chinek din niya how much does Lawrence Lubiano own Centerways? Kasi, di ba, meron ng defense or sinabi na ni Lawrence Lubiano kay Attorney Chel, kay Congressman Chel na, oh, I donated in my personal capacity. It wasn't the company that donated. Kasi sabi ni COMELEC Chair George Garcia, there's a question if personal capacity or yung contractor company mismo ang nag-donate. Baka makalusot daw pag personal capacity. Pero nakita ni Attorney Aceron, 99.33% of Centerways is owned by Lawrence Lubiano. So, essentially, technically, corporations are different from people, no? Kunwari tayo, Richard, we make a corporation. gusto natin mag-business, ganun. Pag na-bankrupt yung corporation natin, yung business na yon, hindi nila pwede habulin yung personal assets mo or personal assets ko kasi iba yung katauhan ko, katauhan mo sa katauhan ng corporation na ginawa natin. Pero meron ding mga exception yan sa batas, sabi na ng Supreme Court, piercing the veil of corporate fiction. Aalisin mo yung legal na gawa-gawa na may ibang katauhan ng corporation kung may mga flag or signs, red flags or signs na iisa lang naman talaga yan. That the corporation and one person is one and the same. So if you own 99.33%, Lawrence Lubiano is Center Waste Construction. Center Waste Construction is Lawrence Lubiano. So, doon pa lang, malakas na yung complaint ni Attorney Aceron. Bakit ethics complaint? Because it's unethical if you accepted a donation from a contractor when that donation is prohibited by the Omnibus Election Code. So,
So regardless,
medyo
sabi ni Cheese,
talaga
ay
si
wala, hindi naman siya material doon sa mga kontrata na ko niya, wala naman conflict of interest kasi di ko naman pinush ang certain agenda. Hindi pwede yan.
irrelevant na nga yun eh. Hindi ko na nga yun pinuntahan eh. Kasi regardless if, pero pwede mo din ako tanungin dyan about dun sa nasa loob ng complaint. Binasa ko yung complaint, no? Pero
Yes, please go ahead. Yeah.
punta muna tayo sa fact na kahit kumita o hindi kumita ang center waste from Senator Cheese or nakialam or hindi nakialam si Senator Cheese, walang kinalaman yon. Ano siya eh, may tinatawag na mala prohibita. It is prohibited by law. So, kahit ano yung intention mo, kahit ano yung circumstances surrounding it, the mere fact that you did it, it's prohibited by law. So, yung prohibition on accepting donations from contractors is a prohibition by law. Wala siyang exception. Basta tumanggap ka or nagbigay yung contractor at tumanggap yung politiko, wala na. Yun na yun. So, yun lang yung kailangan patunayan ni Attorney Aceron. Pero meron din siyang ibang facts regarding sa conflict of interest na na-actualize because of the donation.
I want to go to the ethics committee kasi this is gonna fall under JV, Senator JV, and Senator JV, hindi ko alam kung sinasabi niya kahapon, parang we have to protect the institution. Whatever. Anyway, I'll go back to that very shortly. But since we're in the technicality aspect of these things, puntahan din natin ito, yung sa certain legal luminary. Yung asawa daw, independent director naman dun sa isang company. Independent naman daw na director. So, wala rin conflict of interest nun. Can you explain ano ba yung trabaho ng isang independent director and how independent is an independent director? Should we take it literally?
Well, ang independent director, it's a requirement by SEC and relevant corporation laws, no, that require big companies, talagang yung may mga malalaking holdings or transactions na dapat merong board of director member, di ba? A corporation is run, managed, and operated by board of directors. Yung day-to-day tasks by the CEO or president. Pero yung policy setting, it's by the board. So it's really the board that acts as the corporation, board of directors. So dapat kasama daw sa board of director, may mga kahit isa, pero it depends, may mga requirements yan, minsan more than one. Kailangan mayroong independent director. An independent director, sabi ng batas, must not have a financial stake or interest in the going on or the ongoings operation of the corporation. Meaning, yung independent director can scrutinize and can contribute sa board meetings from the perspective of a third party, someone who is not interested in the life or death or survival or profit-making of the corporation. Pag kumita yung corporation, usually kumikita din ang board of directors. But the independent director, because nga dapat wala siyang financial stake, hindi siya nakasalalay. Wala siyang pake kung kumita o hindi yung company. Ang pake dapat ng independent director is to ensure compliance with the laws, walang mali ginagawa yung corporation, etc., etc. So, that's the theory. Ngayon, in practice, ang concern kasi kay Mrs. Edna Marcoleta, one, pinakita na ng mga tao, and this is in the GIS or financial sheets of Stronghold Insurance Company, merong 500 shares of stock si Edna Marcoleta. Of course, sasabihin ng iba, onti lang yon, 500 times 2,000 pesos, parang ganun yung value ng isang share, no, or 1.5, mababa lang daw yon. Hindi naman mapagkakakitaan yon. Pero, even then, that's a financial stake. Okay? Ngayon, if the purpose was to give you one share, di ba Richard, usually naririnig mo yung nominal shareholder or nominal share para maging board of director ka. Usually, para maging director ka, kailangan may one share ka man lang. Okay, yun yung nominal. Dapat, one share lang. Eh, bakit naman naging 500? That's one, no? But the other thing there is, hindi naman si Mrs. Edna Marcoleta lang mismo yung may conflict of interest. Ang conflict of interest dito is yung the fact na mag-asawa si Senator Rodante Marcoleta na nag-i-investigate sa flood control project at ginigisa niya yung mga diskaya at saka parang siya pa yung nakakuha ng affidavit, di ba? Eh yun pala, yung mga diskaya, yung kanilang mga company, insured. Ang kanilang insurance company ng mga diskaya is Stronghold and Milestone. Hindi lang Stronghold, may isa pang insurance company, no? Dalawa. Etong dalawa na to, na company ay director sa Stronghold Independent, sa Milestone. Klaro, conflict of interest. Hindi independent si Edna Marcoleta doon. Non-executive director sa Milestone Insurance Company. So, ang problema dyan, nag-i-investigate si Senator Marcoleta, gusto niyang mapasok sa state witness program kasi, bakit ito yung conflict of interest kasi? Kasi kapag naging state witness, hindi na ma-freeze yung assets nila, hindi na sila pwedeng ma-forfeiture or ma-penalize, and therefore makakapagbayad ang mga diskaya companies sa kanilang mga obligations. Like what? Like insurance payments. So ano yung flip side nun? Kabaliktaran. Kapag frozen yung assets ng diskayas, kapag hindi sila state witness, hindi nila mababayaran yung insurance claims ng insurance companies kasi itong insurance companies nag-insure sa mga project na pag ghost project yan, yung insurance company ang magbabayad. So kapag frozen ang assets ng mga diskayas, hindi pwedeng habulin ng insurance companies yung mga diskaya. So, may conflict of interest kasi iisipin ng mga tao, Edna Marcoleta wants to ensure na mababayaran ng insurance company ng mga diskayas if hindi frozen ang assets nila. Who will make sure hindi frozen ang assets nila? Senator Marcoleta indirectly kasi he's pushing for the couple to be state witnesses.
Yeah, so that's where you can connect the dots, no? And that's where the skepticism comes from. So basically the point is just by saying independent director, but just saying the title, you're not really shutting down or providing a robust response dun sa concerns about conflict of interest. But let's talk about this Kayas as state witness. Gaano ka mahalaga yan? Kasi as you saw, we discussed this also with Justice Carpio and Justice Ascuna. They were emphatic na dapat hindi sila bigyan ng state witness. And you already mentioned that, yung basically yung restitution part, diba? Like, basically, ma-legitimize yung ano nila, diba? Yung parang you don't want... So why would someone like Marcoleta be so concerned to make them state witness? Kasi he's concerned for their welfare and safety? Ano ba nangyari?
Medyo 50-50 ako. It's an ongoing debate. I can see why they should not be state witnesses, pero
let's discuss both sides of it. Okay, if you're 50-50, then let's discuss both sides of it.
Yeah. Why should they not be state witnesses? No? Ano yung reasons? First of all, they seem to be equally the most guilty. Baka akala ng mga tao, when the law says they should not be the most guilty, isang tao lang ang most guilty kasi most. Pero it can be kasi may mga co-perpetrators, di ba? Co-principals. Mastermind kayo lahat. 10 kayong nag-mastermind ng isang plano. You can all of you, the 10, can be most guilty. Okay? So hindi lang isa yan. Pero the reason why they should not be state witnesses, if that's the standard, no, is the disguises are equally most guilty with the legislators, the proponents, senators or congressmen na nagluto nitong plano na ito para mangurakot. Because the legislators are on the government side. Itong mga contractors na diskaya on the private side kasi hindi naman sila government official. So it takes two to tango. Yun ang punto. Kailangan may insider sa gobyerno who knows the system, and kailangan may outsider sa gobyerno who knows how to falsify or how to create ghost projects from the contractor side. Kasi siya yung magpe-present ng project, siya yung mag-bibilling, etc. etc. So, they're equally the most guilty. So, hindi pasado. One. Second, nasabi ko na din to sa aking mga posts, they seem to be similarly situated with the Napoles, with Janet Napoles. Si Janet Napoles, hindi natin ginawang state witness. She was equally the most guilty with legislators, pero napakawalan kasi yung mga legislators. So kawawa si Janet Napoles ngayon. But the point is, she was also equally most guilty. By analogy, kung hindi naging state witness si Napoles, bakit magiging state witness ang mga Diskaya? So that's unfair. That's on one hand. Ngayon, Richard, I'll be honest, medyo napapaisip ako, baka pwede naman maging state witness sa mga Diskayas. Pero kailangan strict yung conditions. Kailangan talagang tell all, lahat ng alam nila. And second, kailangan crucial yung testimony nila na mapakulong ang mga legislators. Kasi kay Napoles, ang problema kay Napoles, she never admitted her guilt. Tapos, she also never attempted to testify, parang walang portion sa testimony niya na mapapanagot niya talaga, matuturo niya na etong senador na to o itong congressman na mga ito, sila ang nagturo sa akin na gawa ka ng fake NGO, gawa ka ng ghost project, gawa ka ng ghost beneficiaries. Wala yung ganun kay Napoles. Kaya nakulong si Napoles kasi meron siyang kanang kamay na PA or executive assistant, si Ben Horluy, who also knew everything. So hindi na kailangan si Napoles. Pero humina yung kaso as against the legislators kasi nilalaglag nila yung chief of staff nila or nagkakaroon ng ibang defenses na, very creative. Let's go sa mga Diskayas, no? Ang concern ko kasi ngayon, Richard, paano natin mapapanagot yung mga senador or congressmen? Kasi dati nga nakalusot na. Pinakulong na natin, may kaso na, pero nakalusot sa judiciary because of magagaling mga abogado or whatnot. Baka kulang yung ebidensya. Ngayon, kung para lang mapakulong ang mga senador or congressman at kung talagang may mapapakitang ledger, may mapapakitang ibang ebidensya ang mga Diskayas na mapapakulong mo yung mga senador or congressman, baka ako napapaisip ako na para lang maiba yung sitwasyon natin noon na wala tayong napakulong na elected official, baka ngayon sana may mapakulong tayo. How can we do that? If that's the way na mapakulong natin, napapaisip ako. I'm not saying tama siya or na ako certain, no? It depends kung ano yung mga ebidensya na meron ang mga Diskayas and how willing and honest they are to testify.
Well, the honest part, isn't there a way to square the circle? I mean, you raise a very important point kasi one of the things I'm getting, I don't know kung mga ka-Diskaya diehard supporters to mga to or talagang legit sila na ayaw nila na magkaroon ng fall guy. Kasi basically sinasabi ng iba, ano lang naman yun, mga kasabwat lang naman yan, hindi naman talaga yun ang mga mastermind eh. But in theory, you could say it could be a kind of a symmetrical. I mean, we're looking at the scale, right? Billions of dollars of project ang pinag-usapan natin. To say that because hindi elected official lang isang contractor, automatically it's an asymmetrical relationship and therefore hindi mastermind. It might, like not be, showing fidelity to the factual evidence in the sense that, di ba? Baka naman is talaga a symmetrical conspiracy. Of course, the best case is a contractor na literally both my contractor and congressman. But it's very possible that the two can have a symmetrical relationship, right? And whereby a super big contractor is more or less at the same level as, let's say, dubious legislator.
Yeah. And may mga nagsasabi pa nga na mas malakas or mas naging makapangyarihan pa ang mga Diskayas than some senators or congressmen. Ganito kasi yan, ito prangkahan. And parang sa'yo ko pa lang ito masasabi, no? Wala pa akong nasabi na ganito sa ibang interview. Bakit ba paboritong contractor ng mga politiko ang mga Diskayas? It's because nag-a-advance ang mga Diskayas kahit hindi mo pa nabigay yung project sa kanila, kahit hindi pa na-award sa kanila, pero pampatulong sa'yo at para ma-ensure na yung project ibibigay mo sa kanila, nag-a-advance sila. Kaya nila magsuka ng pera. Now, question, Richard, how are they able to do that? Why would they be so liquid? Okay. Ngayon, bakit hindi liquid ang mga congressmen at senators? Ang mga diskayas, kaya yan liquid kasi doon sa mga lumang nakulimbat na nila na ghost project or whatever na may SOP, alam mo kasi private sila. Wala silang ginagastos. Hindi nila kailangan mag-engage in vote buying. Minsan, ang mga congressman at senador, kaya yan kinakapos or nakukulangan at kaya kailangan pa ng additional is because may sarili na silang luho. May mga luho yan ha, hindi ko sinasabing wala. May sarili na silang luho tulad ng mga diskayas, pero madami pa silang kailangang panagutin, which is magvo-vote buying sila para manalo. So, hindi kasing liquid ang mga legislators. So, that's why ang mga diskayas mas naging powerful kasi alam ng mga ibang congressmen, nag-uusap-usap yan ng mga congressmen, sino bang contractor mo, etc., maayos ba yung kausap. That's why, di ba, sa Senate hearing, tinanong sino ba yung sinabihan ni Bernardo na ito bang si Alcantara, maayos bang kausap yan? Si Alcantara, hindi lang yan para sa district engineer, para din yan sa contractor. Kasi ang mga politiko, gusto nila malaman kung maayos bang kausap, which means mabilis at madaling kausap when it comes to releasing money. Yun yung, yun yung punto doon, no? So, mga disguises, mas naging powerful pa yan kasi sila yung sought after. So, on that end, I can see why they can be symmetrically or equally most guilty. And aside from
Or
that,
even
Richard, di
more,
ba?
di ba? Or even more. I mean, in the US context, lobbying groups are seen as more powerful than politicians, right? There are all this discussion about mga ng mga legislators ng mga lobbying groups, di ba? Kasi they need the resources to run. Eh. So, hindi ko maintindihan bakit automatically national town an elected official is more powerful from, as you put it, some highly liquid people who will make all the difference in tight elections and expensive elections.
You're absolutely correct, 'di ba? Elon Musk, mga billionaires, lobbyist groups sa US, no? There are many research proving that they are actually more powerful. So those are the reasons, no? And by the way, yun nga sinasabi ko din na the Diskaya silang gumawa ng modus. Hindi madaling magpeke at gumawa ng mga documents, bid documents, mga awarded documents, yung mga compliance reports na meron ng monthly inspection or monthly, ito yung nagagawa so far, progress reports. Alam mo, napaka ano din yan, mabosisi din yan. So sila yung may modus on the private side. So I can see the argument there. Ako, siguro ang counter ko lang din diyan because we're debaters, we can see both sides, 'di ba? Baka sinasabi ng iba, more guilty ang mga elected politicians kasi itong mga politicians ang nanumpa na magsisilbi sila sa tao ng tapat at ng walang pangungurakot. So sila yung mas pinagkakatiwalaan. Ito namang mga private, of course may mga batas tayo na bawal mangurakot, no? Pero hindi kasi sila nag-take an oath, hindi sila binoto, wala silang mandato.
Except they ran for they wanted to be elected official except they were
That
not.
is kaya, so...
That's my point, diba? It's not yun lang they just failed because they were up against Vico but so parang mahirap din sila lulusutan diyan eh. So we're going to the last part of our discussion, Attorney Falls. I really appreciate again this. Yeah, I actually like that. Yung we show both sides of the coin and then we say this side medyo mas mabigat yung argumento or mas I think timbangin natin. I mean that's always the right way naman to do it. Eh. Kaya nga, sabi ko that's where our debating background comes in handy because you can look at both sides and then you can move from
Or
there.
yung mga, ang maganda dyan, Richard, yung mga nakikinig sa atin, sila ang magtitimbang. At least, na-present natin both sides.
Absolutely. Although I'm sure they have a suspicion which side we think. It's like just our sarcasm and all of that, diba? Um, oh my God. I mean, where do you see
Ang hirap, di ba? Oh, ang hirap,
yeah.
di ba?
Mahirap talaga siya. Mahirap talaga siya. But ako, I honestly feel, pag binigyan ng witness protection mga disguise, sasabog to, people are gonna get really angry. I was just talking to some people here from Nepal. Yung pala nangyari sa Nepal, which is very relevant sa Philippines, Jesus. Muntik na, so yung mga corrupt na politicians, sila yung nagbayad daw doon sa mga gangsters, mga Jejemon style, para sunugin yung mga buildings daw sa Nepal. Hindi daw yung mga youth,
Bakit?
para hindi mahanap yung mga documentos na involved din sila sa corruption. Di ba? Itang tao, naghahanap lang sinong anuin. So, ang gagawin mo, sasakyan mo yung gulo, sinugin mo yung ebidensya para natin can be traced back to you. Kasi daw, yung mga groups na kilala ng kabataan, they were never interested in... Kasi, bakit mo naman i-burn down yung mga civil offices na hindi naman symbols of power? Pero may mga documentos na mahalaga, di ba? So, it had no revolutionary value. Yung medyo yung parliament gano'n, maintindihan mo, nag-French Revolution style sila. Pero yung mga iba daw, suspicious talaga. So, ang suspicion nila, ano yan infiltrated yung revolution ng mga gangsters. Ng mga backed by the corrupt politicians who didn't want to get exposed. So, well, all I'm saying here is that in the Philippines, we're kind of on the edge, di ba? Gladly peaceful yung ginawa natin sa September 21. Hindi ko na alam sa mga judgment nangyari sa Menjola. But things could turn out in a different way. I mean, but I want to end on that point because that's very important. But before that, isingit ko rin kay Lacson, no? Because I don't know if you saw the picture of Lacson meeting sila, ano, sabi nila fake daw, yun, but whatever. But I think he confirmed that he had the meeting with the disguise. But that's not my big issue. Although hopefully hindi totoo na nagsasmiling ganyan-ganyan pa siya. No? But the ICC positioning is kind of dodgy, right? Like, it reminds me again, like, ito na naman to si Lacson sa GMRC. What do you think about the ICC voting? I mean, obviously, it has no relevance whatsoever. Ang paki ng ICC sa mga ek resolution ng ek na ano. But why would Lacson come out and says, oh, dahil ano, nakakaawa tong kababayan natin, kaya bigyan natin ng interim list. But saan yung awa niya sa Kilakian? Saan yung awa niya sa mga libo-libo sa ating mga kababayan na allegedly, I mean, there must be a very strong evidence. That's why Digong is there to begin with, di ba? Na pinatay. So, that kind of reminded us of we're not out of the woods yet. And you could see at the end of the day, tatlo lang talaga yung may integridad on this issue of human rights and people who are not falling for false sympathy. And generally, what do you think what do you think of performance of Senator Lacson? Because I think he was giving a lot of airtime to people who shouldn't have had that much. Speaking of platforming, di ba? Um, out of courtesy sana, some of the senators did not embrace the whole oxygen in the room, diba? Uh, so I don't know. Part of me is not sold fully on Lacson yet. Ikaw, where do you stand on this?
Well, the humanitarian release is totally wrong talaga, no? And a no vote is the best vote. The factual basis are unclear, if not propaganda. Diba? Parang halata naman, nagsisinungaling kasi paiba-iba yung statement, yung family, sina Ma'am Hanilet at saka yung ibang family na hindi si Sarah, sinasabi, okay naman si President. Tapos, napakaklaro naman na ibang-iba yung treatment sa ICC as to Duterte kasi 24/7 yung kanyang communication with the family, no, kahit nga si Trillanes nagulat sa ganong information, no. So it cannot be true na talagang merong concern sa health issues ni Duterte other than normal health issues of aging, no. Itong mga cognitive dementia, ako kasi ang basa ko dyan, Richard, I'm sure you've asked other people, no, it is really just to delay the confirmation of charges. Kasi kapag nag-confirm na ng charges, tuloy-tuloy na yung trial. They just really want to avoid trial. Ngayon, as to the Senate vote, no, it is a show of force as to the prospects for 2028. Pero before I go to Ping, no, ako unlike many na nalulungkot and expect na, oh, itong tatlo lang yung may prinsipyo. But I would add, no, may dalawang nag-abstain. Tsaka, even yung mga yes vote ng ilang mga senador, parang ano lang, pakitang tao lang. Anong signal nitong dalawang abstain, no? Kasi if we were in this situation a few years ago pa, or a few months ago even, no, mas walang nag-abstain. Mas hindi pakitang tao lang yung yes vote. I think the abstain vote is a sign actually of more cracks na magkakaroon ng floodgate na baka matalo talaga itong side ni Sara or nagwi-weaken na talaga ang Duterte hold. Many people think, ay, ang lakas pa din ng mga Duterte, 15 pa din ang bumoto. But take note, may apat na hindi bumoto, umabsent. That if they really wanted to show a show of force, bakit sila umabsent? They could have voted. itong apat na to na umabsent na senador ha, itong dalawang abstain, they could have also voted yes. Pakitang tao. Pero yung reasoning ng dalawa, mukhang they're not buying into into the Duterte propaganda. So, I see signs of hope there. Ngayon naman, kay Senator Ping, ang nakikita ko kasi dyan, meron kasing members ng old minority, the solid five, no? Zubiri Lacson, Legarda Soto, Risa. Si Legarda at si Zubiri voted with the humanitarian release. Ang concern kasi ngayon, napaka-fragile ng Senate. I'm sure you know, di ba, na anytime there could be a coup d'etat again, a new Senate president. So, it's a tough balancing act for Ping Lacson because as chair of the Blue Ribbon, may mga naiinis sa kanya allegedly kasi he was threatening daw or he was, hindi threaten kasi hindi naman niya tinithreaten. Sinasabi lang niya, sasabihin na natin lahat ng mga nag-insert at halos lahat ng senador may insertion. Bahala na sila mag-explain, amendment man yan, or insertion. So, on record, nagalit daw si Senator JV. Ejercito, muntik na daw siya umalis ng majority. Si Senator Win or si Senator Zubiri, I think meron ding mga statement to that effect, no? So baka this is just a tough balancing act for Ping Lacson to appease or placate the majority. I can't really say kasi napaka-fluid ng dynamics sa Senate. Iba-iba yung maririnig mo from insiders or mga staff ng mga senador eh.
Ayan ka naman sa mga Tweety birdies mo. Parang Harry Roque, marami mga little birds spread all around the world.
Yung sa akin malalaki. Yung sa akin malalaking birds.
Well, I mean, kilay pa lang, 'di ba? Talo na ang mga ano. Ang kapal pala ng kilay mo, mas kapal pa kilay mo sa akin.
Mas makapal sa'yo, yes.
Although mine has a higher density, so but ayan na naman tayo.
Pero hindi makapal ang mukha mo. Hindi makapal ang mukha ko.
Pero nakasuhan tayo pareho. Which, ng a certain people's a certain
Makapal ang apog mo. Makapal ang apog mo, lumaban sa mali. Makapal din ang apog ko, lumaban sa mali.
more power to you, brother. Last part. So where do you see this whole balik tayo sa fundamental question, this whole fight against corruption thing? Kasi she's attacking Romualdez didn't look like she's really clarifying the situation. It looked like just a continuation or actually full exposure of the real fault lines, di ba? The fact na Sara Duterte was there and parang, okay, okay. Ikaw ba yung nagsabi nag-audition? But he's hopeless. If ever he were auditioning, why would Sara team up with someone like that? Amy Marcos is already there, doing very well in some of the private service I've done. Ang ganda daw na combo ni Amy and ano. Robin Hood Padilla, I don't know nasaan na siya sa mundo, but he's always gonna be there in the mix. Like what's going on there? Like if Kila is live, where is this gonna go? Like if Cheese is just gonna attack Romualdez and then back na naman tayo dun sa impeachment issue, Duterte versus BBM. This is not gonna make people happy, right? Like this is just gonna look like mudslinging and toxic partisanship.
Yeah. How dirty the unit team was before 2022 and before their breakup is how dirty and chaotic their divorce is happening right now and will be, no? So I think it's really up to the center to hold it together kasi there are really destab forces or destabilization movement from one side, no? And the other side is resisting. Whatever happens, we have to have a clear goal or vision dun sa mga center or moderates na who will not side with, just one faction dahil dun sila makikinabang. Dun talaga tayo sa Team Pilipinas. What's good right now, Richard, is the organizers, di ba, have announced early na merong part 2, yung September 21 rally, which is November 30, Bonifacio Day. So that's a good sign to sustain the outrage because as political scientists, we know na meron talagang outrage fatigue, no? Napapagod ang mga tao. So hopefully, masustain. Etong sa Senate, ano lang to sasabog lalo. I don't know if you've seen today, ano yung mga propaganda today, no?
Grabe.
Talagang allegedly may mga insertions din si Senator Risa Ontiveros. Yun yung bagong propaganda. Of course, I'm not saying wala or I'm not saying innocent si Senator Risa. But from what I know as well is that there are groups in the minority sa minority of the senators. One of them wants to become Senate President who is angling and hitting, targeting each majority senator one by one na gagawan niya ng issue para magkaroon ulit ng chaos at baka yung iba sa kanila lumipat kay minority senator para maging Senate President. But babalik tayo, Richard, no, for transparency purposes, Risa Ontiveros man yan, Ping Lacson Soto, if Ping has said na almost all senators have insertions,
Although
ilabas
he
na
said
lang
hindi
yan.
Risa, di ba? He said hindi Risa. He was quite clear, if I'm not mistaken.
It's unlikely to be Risa. Pero sa akin kasi, even if it's Risa, ilabas na lang yan. JV heirs ito should not be angry or should not threaten to leave the majority just because ilalabas yun. Akala ko ba, what we want is to find out talaga what is the problem. Ngayon, hindi lahat ng insertions masama. We have to be clear about that. Hindi lahat ng insertions masama. Kasi may mga tinatawag na insertions na institutional amendments which is a normal budget procedure.
Pero kasi ma-weaponize yan eh. But kasi automatically, basta insertions, this name, may negative connotation na kagad.
Yeah, but to be clear, iklaro na natin, pag na-debate yan sa plenaryo, pag yung budget ay nalagay at na-approve ng body ng plenary because of a debate, that's okay. Kasi yun yung democracy. Ang pangit, insertion, yung hindi naman nyo dinefend sa floor or hindi nyo naman dinefend in a debate or interpolation against other senators or congressmen. After the BICAM, kayo-kayo lang nag-usap, dalawa, tatlo, apat, para mag-insert para sa mga ibang senador, yun yung talagang tinatawag na insertion kasi nga siningit mo lang. So, sa akin, sana ilabas na ng Senado itong 142 billion budget insertion kasi yun yung talagang masama because documented yan na yun yung in-insert after the BICAM. So yun yung masama. So sana ilabas na yan para kung mayroong pananagutan si Senator Risa kasi tayo, hindi naman tayo bulag eh. Pero ako comfortable ako, I'm quite sure, most likely, na wala yan si Senator Risa na ghost project or insertion na hindi dumaan sa proseso. Dinefend niya yan on the floor. But even if meron, edi magkaalaman na, lahat
Oh.
na lang yan, ilabas.
So there is insertion and then there is insertion. Like there are different ways to put it. Kaya yun nga, like mudding the water is always also a technique of the bad people, diba? To say, eh, lahat pala may insertion eh. What about this? What about that? Quickly point lang, meron ka bang little bird sa JBC? Ano ba nangyari sa ombudsman? Ang tagal na itong ombudsman issue na yan. I mean, obviously the Remulla case may have contributed to this delay. But October na! My goodness, we were expecting August, September, tapos na itong usapan natin, hindi ba mahalaga yung ombudsman? It could be the Deus Ex Machina here.
Well, there's a constitutional mandate for the president to appoint the ombudsman within
From the
three
three,
months.
and then from the three final list of JBC, di ba? Oo.
Yeah, no, doon muna tayo sa timeline kasi October na
Timeline,
nga.
sige, timeline muna doon.
So July, I think July 25 or
Oo, late
somewhere around
July.
that time, nawala si Samuel Martirez officially. So 3 months from that, which is probably third week or fourth week
Okay,
of
mga 2, 3
October,
weeks pa.
kailangan may na-appoint na si BBM. Eh paano siya makakapag-appoint kung wala pang listahan? So dapat ang listahan ng JBC, yung 3 nominees, must come out this week, next week, or before the third week of October.
Exactly. And how important would be the ombudsman? I mean, do you have a favorite? I mean, I asked that Heidi Mendoza, I asked Justice Carp, I asked everyone about who do they want to win. Kasi obviously Kim Hinari's names comes up. Remulla naman obviously is always seen as a front runner, but you never know. But are there any other people we're not paying attention to among the candidates?
From what I know, sa mga, kung Tweety Birds ang tanungan, si Remulla talaga ang frontrunner but the alternative is kung ma-DQ siya because of the cases filed left and right by his haters to stop his chances, di ba? Are the two justices, si Justice Gerlan at saka si Justice Lopez, ba yun? Those two ang frontrunner.
And
After Remulla.
and you feel confident about it, just in case? I mean, realistically, but with all due respect. Kasi yung ICI medyo in the air na naman ngayon, yung Independent Commission na yan. Oh my goodness. So umasa na naman tayo ngayon sa ombudsman.
Si Remulla or the two justices, I'm confident that they will be good ombudsmen. Pero ang tanong kasi, will they be great ombudsmen? Meaning, sila ba yung ombudsman na kailangan sa tawag ng panahon ngayon? I think si Remulla, siya talaga ang aasahan ni BBM to do the job well. Pero
Against
kung
the
hindi siya
fairness.
ma-appoint, kung hindi siya ma-appoint, hindi ko sigurado how the other appointees will be.
All right, on that very indeterminate note, dahil nasa Lipon tayo pareho, although mine is just a morning thing, although I have to walk into the rain now. Maraming sa
Allergy.
I
Allergy
know
lang
allergy.
yan.
Actually, paras pala tayo. It's just an allergy when you wake up and pagod ka or something. Thank you so much, Attorney Jesus Fazes. Thank you for making adjustments. Naman natin, oh my God, 6 a.m. pala sa akin yung 1 p.m. Oh my God. I wanna sleep, di ba?
Matagal na kitang hindi nakakausap kaya sabi ko baka magtampo ka
Oo,
eh.
at saka may utang ka sa amin, lalo ngayon na may ano na, may Hall of Fame ka na rin na ano, entrance ticket. Hindi ba dapat bawal yan? Yung kung nagdi-disbarment ka against certain people, dapat hindi ipapublicize?
Oo, kaya nga hindi ko pinag-uusapan eh kasi confidential naman dapat yan eh.
Exactly. Yun nga eh, talagang walang ethics talaga, ethics na yan. On that very clarificatory note about a certain issue from a certain person, a certain attorney, Jesus Ralsis, ang dami more than 1,000 coterminous live kahit ganitong oras. So I appreciate it. Thank you so much sa lahat na nanonood. People are really interested. And hopefully, Jess, we can have you more regularly back again, at least once a week or every other week para lang naman ma-update ang tao, lalong-lalo na kasi things are moving very fast eh. Hindi mo alam kung any moment eh, di ba? First slowly, then fast, di ba? That's how the whole Escobar empire fell apart. So, this, in fact, tinanong sa akin ng mga investors, will ibang investors, will BBM survive until the end of the year? May mga ganun pa ako nakukuha ang tanong ha. I mean, it's reaching that level, pare. Like, will even BBM survive? Kasi this is keep on going higher and higher. Right? I mean, you're sensing it, right? Like, this is not the end of the story. Pwede sumama.
Basta, basta the center will hold. The center should hold anchor. Ano man mangyari sa kanila, tayo, tayo.
I know, exactly. We have to be the center, unfortunately, because the other, wala na, Starzuela na eh, Bardagulan na. On that note, thank you very much, Attorney Jess, and sana mawala yung allergy natin pareho because you have to continue with the day. Talk to you soon. God bless.